like that. Okay. All right. This is episode 79. And okay, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Realtor Fight Club. I'm Monica Weekly. What's up, Jen Merlin?
Hey, Monica. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Realtor Fight Club. Today, Jen and I, I know we've got differences here. Today, Jen and I are going to duke it out over this subject. If you have $1,000, what's the best way to spend that in order to generate business? So you have $1,000. What are you going to do with it in order to generate business?
I know what we should do.
What's that?
I think I'm going to answer for you and you should answer for me.
I like it. I can do that.
I know exactly what you would do.
Good, go.
This is you. This is my impression of you apparently too, because this is how I hear you in my head. Not really.
Okay, go. Am I going to be mad at you for this?
Yes, you will.
Okay.
I would send it on my sphere and give gifts or something like that. Like, love on my people.
Do I talk like that?
You don't. I don't know why.
Where does that come from then?
I don't know. In my head, I'm like, oh my God, she's going to say something like that. I would build the relationship. Does that sound right? Here's what you would do.
I would buy a mofo gift.
That's not you. You don't have like a beatbox. You're not like a rapper. Oh no.
Oh, sorry. I don't know how that's going to come through on the podcast. We may need to edit that out. Anyway,
here's what you would do.
Okay.
And it's like 1,000-ish, right? Like just for whatever.
Right.
But you would ideally, I know exactly what you would do.
Okay.
You would throw a party. At the party, you would give each person an individualized gift.
Yes. I would. I love custom gifts. I love things that mean something to them. I love things with their names on them so that they know this wasn't one of 20 that I picked out of my car trunk for you. Right. Yes, you're right. I love the idea of, spending time with A-level clients. These are my most important relationships, whether they've been clients.
Would you only do it for A's?
For $1,000, yes. For $1,000, like for this example, that's where I would go with the money.
So what's an A client mean? What is that?
So I divide my clients. This comes from Hank Avink in the 36 to Life playbook.
Hey,
if you don't follow Hank, follow Hank. He believes, actually we do it a little differently, but he believes that not all relationships are created equally, and we need to identify those that are most important with us so that we know where to spend our time, money, and bandwidth, all of that.
By important, you mean ones that'll give you business?
No, not necessarily. I mean, yes, obviously that's what we're doing here, but it has to feel authentic too. So just because somebody has the ability to send me a bunch of business, if I think they're a class A-hole, then I'm not going to befriend them and spend time and money on them.
Right.
Has to feel authentic, but
yeah, of course.
So your A's, somewhere in the 30 to 40 range for your A's, as far as number of A's. This is just how many people you can actually kind of really spend time with and pour into. B's
so they're people that you spend time. What's the definition?
So my A's are my most important, most favorite, and also that I'm spending time with right now. So I have people that I love and adore that are C's right now because I just don't get to see them. It does not mean I think anything less of them, but it's time.
Is there a component though of either the amount of times that they have or will refer you and how many times they've used you, or you don't take that into account at all?
Not exactly, but in that arena, they do need to be able to send you business. So for instance, one of my best friends in the whole world is a real estate agent. And
that's me.
Yes, Jen. And for the purpose of this exercise and how I look at my day and how I spend my day around building my real estate business, she's not an A on that list because she's not sending me business. She's, of course, going to take any business that she gets. So now that does not mean she's not important to me. And if she needed me right now and she interrupted our call with the phone call and she needed me, Jen, we're going to have to re-record this later. I don't know if that helps, but it's fluid for sure. B's, you want to look at about 90 to 110 B's on your list. Okay. So those A's and B's are your real relationships. You know stuff about them. They know stuff about you. You're involved in their life. You feel emotional when something happens for them, happy or sad, like you connect to it. Versus C's, which is to me everybody else. Now Hank divides C's and D's, but I don't treat C's and D's any differently. So they're all just, it's sort of everybody else. Yeah.
So the difference between A's and B's are you're just actually spending like more purposeful time with them, but you basically feel the same about them. Or you might not jump off of the call, but you might be like, I'll be there in a half an hour.
Right. You of course would take action. Yes.
No, that's great.
And they're real relationships. They're real relationships.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. And you generally, most agents have every ounce of business they ever need can come from their A's and B's if their A's and B's are treated right. And you're doing the right things for the relationship. And then you're also flying your real estate flag.
So you're saying these numbers, the 30 to 40 A's and then like give or take 100 B's can be done for any level of business?
No, not any level of business. Primarily the agents that I'm talking with. And I think the majority of agents are happy doing 20 to 36 deals a year. Okay. That's like, to me, more than average, actually, because I think average is what, 4?
Oh my God, don't even get me started.
Don't get you started.
To stay off my
I think a legitimate, like most people I talk to are wanting to do 20 to 36, and you can certainly do that with this practice.
That's a lot of people to keep up with.
Well, that's the joy of social media and Facebook. Facebook makes that very, very easy. You can very easily tag them as friends, go through your friends list, see what they're doing, and be real purposeful on staying in touch, because that's actually your job every day, is that relationship. It's not writing contracts, showing houses. That's not your job.
Okay.
That's a shadow effect of your job.
Respectfully.
Okay, whatever.
Disagree.
So yes, back to the point of this call. I would spend money on my A's, whether that's $1,000 experience, like take an A and their significant other to a concert whenever we can freaking do that again. Mm-hmm. Big night out, limousine, whatever. Fun. It'd be a blast, right? Or maybe, $10, $100 really customized gifts.
That reminds me of this. When I used to have the big team, like a big team, mm-hmm. I would run contests, like a quarterly contest. Mm-hmm. And so whoever won the contest had $2,000, but they weren't allowed to get like the dollar. They got like an experience. So it would depend on who it was. I would like cater to them. Nice. So one time, one of my agents, Robbie Allen. Hey, Robbie.
What's up, Robbie?
He won.
Okay.
And he was like, I want to go see Sarah Bareilles in Waitress in New York City. I was like, hell yes. Nice. And I'm coming.
Yes.
So I got us great seats in New York City to see Sarah Bareilles in Waitress. We flew up. I tried to get us on that jet where it's like first class jet where you fly up and back, but it ended up being out of budget. So we had to fly like coach, regular flight. But we went up. We saw it. We had dinner. We stayed the night. We flew back. I was like, this is the best. That was a great idea.
Awesome. And he'll never forget that.
I'll never forget it.
I know.
I didn't even know what this was.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
It was
so you get fun. It. Now imagine if you treated 30 or 40 of your A's like that over a period of time.
I just don't have the brain power to know that many people.
Do you think you'd have any trouble cultivating a few referrals out of them in a year? No,
you're probably.
I mean, you guys bonded over that.
I'm not going to come to your side.
All right. I know what you're going to do. Let's switch gears here. I know what you would do with $1,000. You would like, I'm going to say it in your voice. You would like subscribe to something that told you all the people that want to sell their house tomorrow, like expireds and FISBOs.
No, I would never buy leads.
No, you'd buy a service that would tell you who those people are, like Vulcan 7 or Mojo or any of the Red X crap that just gives you access to these people that you think you can solve their problem. Is that what you would do? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
that's exactly what I would do. And I would do it specifically with Vulcan because they have the best data.
They have the best data. They really do. And you know what? What's great about that is you're right. You'd get some leads out of that. I'd get some leads out of mine. Like the point is that it doesn't have to be done one way. There's not one right answer. I mean, real estate agents are just looking for that one right answer. It doesn't.
Now, you know what was interesting when we posted this question? A lot of people responded with who they would hire.
Oh, they would hire somebody. to generate business?
I don't know. That was just like a lot of the responses.
Interesting. I mean, with the
Maybe they
backdrop of
misunderstood the
generating,
question, but I was like, that's a really interesting,
yeah,
huh?
I think with the backdrop of to generate business, to me, that wouldn't be where I'd go right away. To make my life
Right.
easier, maybe that's how I would go.
But unless you're doing like, if you're an agent that's doing, let's say 15, 25 deals, whatever it is, and you don't have like a transaction coordinator, and let's say it's more than $1,000, right?
Mhm.
Then I think all day long, spend that money to get a transaction coordinator. And
Mhm.
then that frees you up to generate the leads, however you're getting the leads now.
As long as you're generating the leads. The
Duh.
thing is that people hire people and then they don't replace that time with income generating activity.
Stupid. Stop it.
Right. So, yes, you're right, you guys. You're right. Leverage through people, but only if you're going to replace those hours with income generating activity.
It is a business term called opportunity costs.
Correct.
Look
I
it
love
up.
that. I love that.
All right. Should we go back to our corner?
I think so.
Yeah, we'll take a short break, hear a word from our sponsor. When we return, we will have the final punches. Da, da, da.
All right, welcome back. Now, before we ring the final bell, Jen, you said you talked to some people. What
Yeah.
do we have a tiebreaker coming up, or what are we doing?
Yeah, listen afterwards. There's a good tiebreaker, but yeah. And then I'm trying to think of what was the most common. I mean, it definitely was they would hire people.
Interesting.
They didn't like say who. It was like a lot more like marketing people.
So okay. So
That's buying leads, and stop it.
right. This is where I have trouble with when agents say I need help with marketing.
Okay.
I don't know if this is another show or
You
not.
want me to
So
grab your soapbox?
stop me for a second. Yeah. Look, if you're doing 10, 15 deals a year, you don't need marketing. Like
No.
you don't have a thing to market. You don't have a brand to market. You don't need custom signs.
No.
You don't need, your logo reworked. You need more people. You need to talk more people. If that's what you mean by marketing, which is what you and I were talking about, the way we spent those $1,000, what that has in common is that we're talking to people.
Right. Us specifically are dealing with the people.
That's right.
Yeah, because I've tried to hire out like people to do some of that or supplement some of it. And it's just not the return on the investment as it is as you actually doing it.
That's right. And so before you go spending money on trying to brand yourself or do bus stop fucking benches. Sorry. No.
Grocery cart.
No.
Buying leads.
Right. Those are great if you're already a big brand and you have a lot of recognition and you're just dripping a little bit more around town on it. But you're not going to build a business by having your name on a freaking bus bench.
No, agreed.
Not.
Okay. Yeah, agreed.
It is amazing.
I think if you're an agent that wants to do, 35-ish, 25 to 35 deals or something like that, then pick like 2 ways that you generate business and like do those. You don't need 57 ways to generate business. It's too confusing. It's too time consuming. And if you're going to do that, I mean, let's try to figure out how to do it part-time. Because you don't need to be working full-time hours to sell 20 deals.
No, you don't. That's right. You make a great point. Find your lane and do it well. What a lot of people do is they say, well, I've tried open houses. Open houses don't work. I said, tell me how many open houses you've run in the last 3 months. Well,
and what
2.
did you do specifically?
Like 2, right. Right. The people who have built their business on open houses, and I know them, they're very successful in this market. They moved here. They knew nobody. They built a business on open houses. They spent Monday through Sunday getting people to the open house,
right?
Talking to neighbors, doing whatever they needed to do, letters, whatever. And then they had, 3, 4 open houses that weekend.
Yeah.
So
there's actually in our, if you go to jennifermertlin.com/vault, there is like a guide to having like driving people to the open house.
Awesome. Sweet. Look at you. Good. Yeah. And that point is pick one thing and do it at a high level. If you're going to do relationships like me, get a system, make sure you're spending those marketing dollars there. If you're going to do what Jen does, pay for Vulcan 7. Do it every single morning like Jen does.
Yep.
Whatever it is, go hard on it.
Jump on our Zoom call with us.
Yeah.
Do it. It's so fun.
All right. Well,
all right. I think that's the end.
I think that is. I think we're going to have to cut it off right here. Let's let that be the end. Do you guys think there was a knockout today? How do you feel about this topic? How would you spend $1,000? I'm interested. I'm interested.
Me too.
And if you could go to our Facebook page, that's Realtor Fight Club Podcast. And I don't know, leave us a little note. Tell us what you think. And we love you subscribing and following us. Thank you
Of course.
so much.
And if you want to find out more about EXP, or you have an interest in finding out how much more money you would have made had you been there, give me this has been some painful conversations for people.
You have a tool that helps people see the actual dollars they would have made last year, right? With stock.
It's nuts. Yeah. I mean, people are making 6 figures more. They would have.
I hope people take you up on that.
Okay. But call or text 513-400-1691. Monica, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.